everybody. It's me. Is this thing on? I'm done. I'm connected. And there's the big kinky ball of cord as usual. Leslie Plazz here. Zazoo Plazz report for Sunday. What is it? Sunday. Wait, it's not the 18th. Oh, that is a 9. Okay. Oh, itchy. Somebody wrote an article about Connecticut. It's those DJs. Although I don't know if it's the DJ. Some Connecticut rock station is like, trying to drum up business or whatever. They keep writing all these articles. Oh, this is the 13 things that Connecticut people have, or whatever. Which they get right sometimes, and sometimes they don't get right. So anyway, February 19th, 2023, and it's that. Look at it. I'm standing in a puddle of mud over here. Look at this. You can't see it. You can't see the mud. But see, there's the big pile of, I don't know if you can see the big pile of dirty snow there. It's just mud and gunk and here, I want to get this done first. Zazoo report, February 19, 2023. Okay, so I've got to warn you, I'm in a 70s mood today. The 1970s. We're going back, get in the time machine. We're going back to 1977. So, these smell. You can smell that 1970s vintage photo. Look at that. Okay, so this was circa 1977 or 8, I think. So I think I was about 12 or 13 here. And here I am. I just helped my neighbor's granddaughter. So our neighbors to the left of my parents, he's the guy, Mr. M. He was the one who used to go out and kill deer. Why is it blinking at me? I deleted everything. Okay. He used to go out and kill deer and then hang them up in his garage and hack the tail off, and he presented it to me on a plaque, deer tail. But then, so talk about neighbors. So this is, and his daughter, she was technically a baby boomer. She used to babysit me. And then she had a daughter. She had 2 daughters in like the late 70s, so I guess they're Zennials. And they used to come over, So when I was a young teenager, I would help them. And I think this is around the time of that big snowstorm we had in like 1978, because that was the time. Oh, here he is. Here's my neighbor. His name was John Morrow. He's a great guy with his little granddaughter, Kay. Her name's Kim, actually, and I haven't seen her in years. But what a cute little girl. They would come and reminded me of myself there. Look at him with the pipe. He always had the pipe hanging out of his mouth. But the biggest heart in the whole world, that man. He used to go up to Bethlehem, Connecticut, and I don't know if they still have them there, but there was a convent, and he would go, catch fish, and bring the fish to the nuns, and then he'd do odd jobs around the convent and whatever they had for him, and the biggest heart in the world. And of course, and he and his wife, they're both gone now, but they were, for years, to this day, that's still their house. To me, when I go visit my dad, it's like, that's the Morrow's house. That's because the moral of the story is, it's funny that the people you grow up with, they for me, they inhabit a little world in my you know, in the little neighborhood of my, Zazoo's neighborhood of my brain. And I can go back there whenever I like, and it's still there. Apparently, they say that, you know, all, and even the readings today, all right? It says, love your enemies. It's easy to love your friends, right? It's easy to love neighbors like that. But you've got to love everybody. Rain falls on everybody. So I think that, you know, you, thing is it's all ours. It's all God, right? Us, the past, you know, the present, the future, you know, the past. It's all one, right? So, to me, I can go back and visit them anytime, and I can even smell. I can smell the photos. It takes me right back, right? Because I'm a smell-oriented person. But anyway, so apparently the wisdom is, be the fool. So I got this sewn up. I'm the eternal child. I can look at myself like, you know, that's great. When you had A, snow, and B, kids to play with in the snow, it was great. Now we got no snow, and right now I got no little kids to play with, except that dog. My husband's, he's taking care of his mom, so he's spending some time over at her house trying to, you know, as people our age, you know, when your parents need you, elderly parents in their 90s, like the Jimmy Carter, the former president, apparently he's, you know, he's in his late 90s, so, you know, thinking and saying, sending healing thoughts, and, you know, are very much in our hearts and minds. Those who have, you know, those I've been, the people from my parents' generation, and you know, a little bit older, right? Because they've, you know, they've had good lives. But look at, you know, Jimmy Carter. When he had I was like 10 years old when he became president, and wow, he's got a daughter my age, about my age, Amy Carter, and, you know, I can imagine her, you know, running around under the White House, looking at all the secret tunnels and stuff like that. And it was, you know, this is my childhood. And the other thing, when I was between, say, 10 and 14 years old in the 70s, mid to late 70s, was the disco mania, the Bee Gees. You know, tell me 1977, and I go, oh, disco, Bee Gees. You know, 7th grade. And I think, oh man, yeah, you know, my parents would say, oh, Jimmy Carter, he's a peanut farmer from Georgia. He's running for president. You know, I mean, of course he is. I thought it was great. And then he turned out to be a wonderful, I mean, you know, no president is perfect. Everybody makes mistakes. We're all human. But then, you know, he spends the rest of his life building houses for homeless people, for people who need homes, you know, and that I really admire, because that's one of my, you know, I like the idea of, you know, of building homes for people, of creating a home. But, you know, when you think about it, you can't get too attached to your home on this earth. And this all kind of flows together, doesn't it? So what it is building a home in the next life. So when I think about, you know, those who are maybe winding down, Staying Alive is the song for today, okay? Perfect, right? The Bee Gees. We're all staying alive. What we are is, we are spirit in this mortal meat suit. See? I mean, look at me. Got a brown coat on. But really, death is really just one adventure ending. and another one about to begin. It's like the guy with the wands, you know. He's standing, looking out at, you know, he's standing like on a balcony, and he's looking out at the ocean. He's looking out at, you know, what's down below, and he's got the world in one hand. You know, he's got the wand. Oh, jeez. Oh, the police are looking for me now. The police are what? Hello. They heard I was here. I hope they don't kick me out. Because I'm talking about Brooklyn today. Yeah, so, hello. Please don't kick me out. I'm doing my report. It's all right. It's all right. Oh my God, they're going to come and yell at me, right? So anyway, so now I've gotten all distracted. Yeah, so it's about making a home in the next life, right? He's looking ahead. He's saying, you know, that's where I'm going. I'm going out there. Once you're done here, then your soul says, oh, we're done. Let's go on to the next world, right? So, staying alive. I wish they wouldn't sit there and look at me like that. I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm just doing my little report. Anyway. Anyway, yeah, so, the thing is, I get the readings today. The wisdom of the world is foolish to God, right? Why is this person sitting there looking at me? So, in other words, if you're building your whole life, spending all your time, right, trying to, you know, store up your acorns or your peanuts or whatever, right, in this life, you've got to leave it all behind. What's the point? Why not, instead of trying to, you know, run around and acquire all the wisdom that you think, you know, conquer the world, conquer it. What's the point? You should be spending your time on the next life, right? And then you'll be rich in the ways that counts, right? So, there's that. All right. So, talking about staying alive. Please don't look at me. I hate that. I hate that. Maybe I should go over to the tree, but then I won't have the light. Okay, so anyway, staying alive. What always gets me, okay, so how am I going to do this today? We're talking about Brooklyn. So, John Travolta's birthday was yesterday. Today is my cousin's daughter, who was she was the little flower girl at our wedding. She's actually turning 32 today. Hi, Sarah. So she lives in Brooklyn with her husband. And so, come to find out, there's this place called Lenny's Pizza that was in the Saturday Night Fever movie, and the guy who owned it, Lenny, is retiring. He's 77. He's 77 years old, and 1977 is the year that Staying Alive was out with the movie, and all these sevens, right? 70 times 7, it's an important number, 7. But, so anyway, this song, Staying Alive, originally was part of the Bee Gees album that went for the movie. You know, everybody, we had an 8-track for the longest time, 8-track tape with that album. I think my cousin had it. One of my older boomer cousins had it. But, so that song, then they started requesting it. They're like, you know, people used to call the radio and say, oh, can you play that song from the movie? So eventually, it became a single. And they actually won a Grammy for it. Let's see. 1977, Bee Gees won a Grammy for Staying Alive. It got to, and February 4th, 1978, which was 45 years ago, the week of the big snowstorm, right? The blizzard of 78. Staying Alive was #1 on the Billboard Top 100. You can't make this stuff up. So I remember that storm in Connecticut. It was a couple of weeks after. It was in January that the roof fell in on the Hartford Civic Center, which is now the XL Center, which is, I don't know, whatever. It's been renamed so many times. But so I was having my breakfast one morning, listening as I did every morning to Bob Steele, who was the AM DJ on the WTIC, which was Travelers Insurance Company radio. And that's where you had, in those days, right? No internet, no cell phones, no computers. You had to listen to the radio till your school came up, and then, and if your school was at the end of the alphabet, you had to listen to the whole thing. There's no way to get around it. So we're listening, and all of a sudden they said, oh, last night, I guess it was a UConn basketball game or some kind of, the whole place had been full of people. And in the early hours of the morning, the damn roof caved in. The whole roof. It was precariously built in the first place. But I guess it had been raining and there was ice and stuff, and the whole thing just fell in. I'm like, what the heck? What? I'm living in a world where the roof can fall in at any time? I was like 11 years old. Was it 78? No, I was 12. So, yeah. So this is this Staying Alive. It's a song, whenever I want to be my bad self or get going on the treadmill or something, I put that song on and and start walking. Because Tony Manero, he goes to Lenny's Pizza, right? He gets 2 slices. He's walking down the street in Brooklyn with a paint can in his hand, like he's got all the time in the world, right? And he goes and gets a couple slices at Lenny's, puts them together, and he's eating them, right? He's walking down the street. So I'm like, when I saw the movie, I was probably too young to see it at that time. I saw it later. But I said, how cool is that? He's walking down the street. He's looking at every girl he sees. And then he gets back to the paint hardware store, and this lady's all upset, He's like, there's your paint, and I'll take $1 off. And I'm like, she's all happy, and everybody likes him. I said, that's great, And then he goes and disco dances at night, and he wins, competition. I said, that's my hero. And so, but you got to think about the song. Whether you're a brother or whether you're a mother, you're staying alive. And I used to think in a city, I thought it was like inner city drinking and everybody's thinking about staying alive. I didn't even know that said New York Times effect on man. That's interesting. But all these years later, cities breaking and everybody's shaking. Yeah, the cities are breaking. Everybody's shaking. There's earthquakes. The roofs are falling in. The buildings are falling down. And I'm like, this was I was 12. Introduction to the world. Hello, welcome to the world. I'm your tour guide. I'm your tour guide, Tony Manero. Man, well, we knew him from Welcome Back, Kotter. John Travolta. He was that kind of cool. I mean, wow. And then all these years later, I said, oh man, I actually never knew anybody from Brooklyn. And then my older cousin, my dad's side, went and lived there. He's been living there a long time. He's like a stockbroker. But I said, Brooklyn. And then my parents would say, oh, Brooklyn, there's nowhere to park. We can't go in and visit the Brooklyn relatives. We got to take the train. And my parents weren't city people. They were suburbs people. Like, wow, it sounds kind of cool, And I don't know if I've been. I think I've been to New York City, but I don't think I've been to Brooklyn. But a few years ago, I met somebody from there. I actually was working. And this is funny because um, we were all working together at that software company. And I mentioned this before. He was the guy who used to sit next to me, about 10 years older than me. He had all the sports pennants up on his, shelf. He was from Brooklyn. So he graduated college in 77. He was 10 years old. Boomer type. But great salesman, right? His whole family, I guess he grew up in Brooklyn, but now he lives in Connecticut. Like, this guy could sell. He could sell anybody. He's still in sales. But he just, really nice person. Genuinely great, born salesman. And we would have the best discussions, but his last name ends with that little buzzing insect. The one. Yeah, so he and I left around the same time. We came in at the same time and we left at the same time. He used to work on, I was more on the marketing and web development stuff. He was the guy who would do deals, He'd do affiliate marketing. Like, oh, if you put our banner on your website, we'll put your banner on our website, and bada bing, bada boom, that kind. Very Italian, think like Sebastian Maniscalco. Anyway, he also had 2 boys, just like me. So yeah, nice guy. I mean, we used to have lunch every day together. And he was Pisces, right? Almost exactly aligned with my Saturn, which is, my Saturn's in 10 degrees of Pisces. That's where he was born, right about there. Those are the people I end up working with, Pisces. And, you want to help everybody, right? He's the kind of people. Yeah, Pisces, right? We're in Pisces now. The sun just went into Pisces. Neptune's in Pisces. We get, you got one fish going one way and the other one going up, and the other one coming down, as above as below. My friend over here, the police officer, still watching me. But yeah. So one sign, so bartering, right? That's so Brooklyn. So he goes, Tony Manero. He goes in the store. He says, you got, you take credit, you take layaway. Yeah, okay. You do this for me, I'll do that for you. Don't count on it. Take your receipt. Don't trust me. I think that's how we need to live in this day and age. We need to barter. It's like, okay, you do this for me, I'll do that for you. We're all from Brooklyn now. Communities where people trust each other, even though you don't kind of trust each other, but so, it's like love your enemies. The rain falls on all of us, right? So if there's somebody who does you wrong, then, you just get over it. You don't go back and you try to, burn their business down. You say, okay, let's work this out. And if you're trustworthy, other people will see that and they'll, hopefully be trustworthy too. Right? You've gotta start somewhere. And, life going nowhere. Okay, so where are you gonna go? If it's all the same and we're all the same, why do you need to be better than anybody? Or worse than anybody? Why can't you just be where you are? Everybody, we're all here together. We might as well make the best of it, have a slice, pizza, dance a little, have some fun, get the job done, make it a better place to live in. Like Lenny. Maybe. And I mean, even the Bee Gees, they didn't know. They made this album, they're having fun, went, so it was on the top, they were on the top, and then they weren't on the top. That's life. Life going nowhere. Yeah, but it is, though. It's always going somewhere, right? It's all in your perspective, right? if we're doing what we're meant to be doing and we're loving it, who cares? Who cares if somebody thinks you're going nowhere, right? Maybe where you're going, they can't see yet. You see it, but they don't see it, right? They don't see the value in what you're doing. But somebody will, right? Right? Well, okay, you work in a hardware store, but at night you're the best dancer in the whole world, right? That's what I'm talking about. Maintain yourself on the earth, stay alive, so you can do the thing that lights you up, right? Your disco dance, right? Yep. I love that. Bee Gees. Ah, yes, the Bee Gees. I saw them 1979 in the New Haven Coliseum, which has just been completely, well, it was raised, but now they say they're going to put something in there, luxury apartment homes with perfectly white walls and white cabinets, like a sanatorium. Whoever thought that having all white, was a good idea? Certainly no one who's ever had sons or dogs or cats. Oh God. Anyway, so yeah, snow is nice. It's nice that snow is white, but the white we should strive to be pure on the inside. That's where it counts for the next life. Nothing on earth everything's dirty down here, Why bother cleaning? Everything is to dust, goes to dust. The wisdom of the world is foolish to God. He said, why are you bothering? You're just going to get dirty again. Okay. All right. So, anyway, in every trial, if you see the potential in every person you meet to grow, to learn, a lesson in every trial, right? You will be rich in experience. And that's what makes you, it's your inner discotheque that you have to rule, right? You'll never be the best at anything on this world. Don't even try to be that. Try to be the best of yourself that you've ever been. All right, so I better get going. All right, so new moon. I gotta do my new moon work tonight. New moon in Pisces. So instead of just thinking of staying alive, thinking of how can staying alive and thrive. How can you thrive this week? Make some big plans. Till next week, Zazoo Plazz, signing out. See you later. Bye-bye.